reducers in enterprise applications. We will never have one reducer. There will be many reducers. Again, where we will write many reducer. If our application is too big, we will have lot of files for each reducer. For each reducer, we will have different files, but they are nothing but a function. We can import them into a main file. There we can create a main reducer. That main reducer will combine multiple reducers. We will see that also.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Hope you got some idea at least, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fine. Anyone else got a chance to complete this counter example? Okay, fine. If we are good, let me go to next example. Let me go to next example. The next example that we will be discussing is next example should be to-do application. So we will have one to-do application. That to-do application, yeah, Redux to-do. We'll talk about this. Today I will explain to-do example and I will expect you people to create a employee application, employee CRUD. See, we have to-do list. In this to-do list, you can see there are already two to-dos, to-do 1, to-do 2. Then we can add a new to-do also. Let's say I'll add a new to-do number 3, add new to-do got added. Add new to-do 4 got added. I want to toggle the to-do. I'll go and click this button. This to-do will be striked out. It got striked out. I want to delete one to-do number 3. I can delete it. What do you think? Looking at this UI, what do you think? How many uh, actions are there? How many reducers are there? What do you think?
Actions would be three: delete, toggle, and add new.
Delete, toggle, add new to do, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now let's understand how it is done. I'll explain the code. Fine. So whenever we create one Redux application, what all files we will have? First of all, definitely there will be a store, right? There will be a store, right?
Yes, sir.
So I have created a store folder and a store file. In store file, in store file, you can see what we are doing. We are creating a store. Let my store equal to create store. So create store is striked out. Why it is?
We write
Yeah,
configure store nowadays.
yeah. Create store is striked out. Why create store is striked out? Because I had done this program 7 months back. 1st July I had done it. So
Okay.
back then we had this create store method, but now even though it will work today also, but it is deprecated, it is too old now. You might have seen in our previous example we didn't use create store, we used configure store method. What method we used? We used configure store. Yeah, but it is fine. There is not much difference. So this is our store file. In this store file, we are calling create store method, and create store method or configure store method will take a reducer, right? Hmm?
Yes.
So it is calling which reducer?
Root reducer.
Root reducer. And root reducer is coming from which file?
Reducer file.
Reducers.
Reducers. Any other question in this file? If you are thinking about line number 6, what is line number 6? This line number 6 is required. This line number 6 is required if you want to understand how Redux is working.
আমাদের
What
operational
action is being
language
triggered? Because of this action,
বলতে
how
পারবে
state got
প্রপারলি
changed? What was my previous state? What is my current state? If you want to
ওকে
understand all these things, this line is required. And I am going to show that also. Huh. Any question, any other question in this file, store.js?
sir, like new way of creating, we no need to add na line number 6.
This is for the extension.
Yeah, I'm talking
It
about the
it
Redux.
is required. It is required, I
Also
think.
it is required. Okay.
Hmm. Next, this store is calling which method? Root reducer. Root reducer is coming from reducers file. Now I will go to reducers, reducers.js. In this reducers.js, what are we doing? Please understand. We have a method called combine reducers, which is from Redux package. Then we have one initial state, which is one array. In initial state, we have two to dos. One of them is completed false, one of them is completed true. Then I'm creating a reducer. What is a reducer in Redux? Reducer is a function which takes state data and action information and returns updated state, right? In our case, initial state is holding one array with two objects. Then we have written conditions. We have how many actions? If action is to do, add to do this. If action is delete to do, delete one to do and return the array. If action is toggle to do, change the true value to false, false value to true. If action is not add to do, delete to do, or toggle to do, then return the state as it is. Any question from line number 7 to line number 27? Don't hesitate to ask questions. If something is not clear, ask me. No questions? Fine. Then I have another reducer. This is to-dos reducer. There is another reducer. The reducer name is reducer 2. This reducer 2, I have just added it. I'm not doing any logic here, but we can have lot of reducers. That is what I am trying to explain. One Redux project can have lot of reducers: employee reducer, student reducer, product reducer. We can have lot of reducers. We have another reducer called reducer 2. It takes state and action and returns state. That's all. It's doing nothing. Just to show you when we have multiple reducer, how we can deal with. Then const root reducer equal to combine reducers. We are combining all the reducers. So this is how we will combine all the reducers and we will create a main reducer or root reducer that is holding all the reducer information. Is it clear? Any question in this reducers.js file?
No, sir.
Okay. If no questions, Let me go to actions file. Let's go to actions file. This is actions file. In actions file, what are we doing? We have just declared a variable let next to do id equal to 3 because we already have 2. It will not be hard coded again. We can say initial state dot length plus 1. We can do like that. But yeah, the logic can be changed anytime. So don't think much about that. Then we have three functions: export function, add to do. Add to do will take a string and will return one object. In that object, there will be three information. What is the type? What is the ID? And what is the to do text? We have delete to do. Delete to do will take the to do ID and will return one object with type delete to do and ID. Toggle to do is a function which will take the ID and will return one object with type and ID. Any question here? What is this file called? Action creator. How many action creator functions we have?
3.
Three. It takes a string, returns one object. This function takes one ID, returns one object, action object. This function takes one ID, returns one action object, right?
Oh,
Any question here?
Yes, sir. In this case, a different
one update আজকে গুগলি আমাদের
attributes
জন্য
are there
পায়েস বানাচ্ছে
for add
সো ওই যে ধরুন পায়েস
and delete
হচ্ছে
one.
রেকর্ডিং যাতে যেন শোনা যায় আমাদের মনে থাকবে ডেটটা বলে রাখি 11
See, while adding it to do,
টু ডুর
we
সঙ্গে
need
পায়েস
the
হচ্ছে
text. But while deleting and toggling, we don't need that text. Only the ID of this row should be enough, right? That is why.
Okay.
Got it, na?
Yeah.
Now store, reducer, actions. These three files are done. Then what next? We will provide the store information in which file?
Component.
In which file?
Component.
Index.js. In index.js, we are importing my store. We are importing my store and passing that my store to app component. Is it clear?
Here we can pass more than one store, sir, in the object.
No, store will be only one.
we can have multiple slice of the store.
Yes, we can have multiple slice or we can have multiple keys inside this object.
Okay.
Next, this data goes to app component. Now let's open app component. In app component, how many components are used? To-do list and add to do. Then let's go to to-do list and add to do. If I go to list, this is to-do list. What to-do list will do? To-do list will fetch that data from store, right?
Yes.
What to-do list will do?
Fetch data.
To-do list will fetch the data from
store. The use letter use को fetch data.
state. To fetch the data from store or state, we write use selector. Use selector. When we use use selector and we pass the we use selector, it will give me the state. In the state, there are two reducers. One is to do reducer, one is reducer 2. We are interested with to do reducer. So whatever to do reducer will return, I will assign it to a variable called my to dos. My to dos is one array. Got it? Then using map method, I am iterating my to do array, passing one to do information to do component. If we go to do component, to do is one component. What is this to do component doing? To-do component gets a props, that is to do, one to do object, one to do object. Then from to do component, we need to trigger action delete and toggle. To achieve that, we are using use dispatch. Use dispatch will give me the dispatch function. Using dispatch function, we can dispatch any action. So here I'm printing the to do text. I'm printing the to do text, and there are two buttons, delete button and toggle button. On click of delete button, we are calling a method called delete my to do. In delete my to do, what I'm doing, I'm calling the action creator. I'm calling the action creator. The action creator name is delete to do. Delete to do. Action creator name is delete to do. This delete to do will return me one action object. That action object I'm dispatching. There is a function called toggle my to do, which is internally calling toggle to do action creator, which returns one action object. That action object we are dispatching here. Any question in this file?
So here we are importing data action.js, right?
Yeah. Yeah, without inputting, we cannot use them. We are inputting.
Meaning store.js is connected with the reducer, and each component is getting connected with the reducers. And this actions.js will be used for our purpose, right?
Action.js will only return action objects.
Means what need to be done?
No, action will return just one object to you. If you don't want to create action creator also, it is fine. If you can create the action object in the to-do component.
Okay, got it. So that action.js is optional, right? We can.
Yeah, that is optional. But in large applications, every project will have it. That is why I'm explaining with all these files.
Okay, got it. Clear.
Yeah.
Sir, we are yesterday created a counter application, right? Today is created to-do list. We can implement it, both are in one project.
We can.
Okay. But your experience different one, no? That's the reason.
Yeah. No.
And that time action and files are same, action.js and what are the files we have?
Yes.
Reducer and actions and store files are common for all, right?
Yes.
But only that whatever we have mentioned, that words is different.
Yes.
Okay, but component will be different as like previous React project. Okay.
Now we will go to add to do component. If we go to add to do component, add to do, what are we doing in add to do? Please understand. Add to do is also dispatching one action. So we have to use dispatch method. We are using use dispatch. Using use dispatch, we will get the dispatch object. Then we have an input box. Using that input box, user will enter a text. That text we have to pass it to add new to do. In add new to do function, we are collecting the data from the input box. Then we are calling the action creator add to do. This action creator will return me one action object. That action object I am dispatching. And every time something happens, this to-do list is the subscriber. To-do list is subscribing. It is subscribing the store. So whenever there is a change in the store, this portion will be executed again and again and again. Do you understand? Is it clear? I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's understand in UI how it will look like. Okay. To debug Redux application, we need one extension. We need one extension. That extension name is Redux Redux Toolkit, Redux Dev Tools. We have to install this extension. Now this extension should be installed in Chrome browser. Can someone please share the screen and install this Redux DevTools? I have already installed. I don't want to show you the existing one. I want someone who doesn't have it. Please install it now only.
Yes, sir. I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Redux.
Redux DevTool is one extension, Chrome extension, browser extension. Just install it. Yeah. Hope others are following. Just search for that extension and add to Chrome.
Yeah.
Once you do add to Chrome, it is added to Chrome.
Yes.
Now open your application and inspect.
সাথী কাকিমা কেন আসছে? সাথী কাকিমা কি অনিতা আসছে? অনিতা আসছে না ওই ইয়েতে?
Yeah. So you see Redux.
Yeah.
Redux, one more tab is visible. Now every time you do some action, increment or decrement or reset, whatever you do, wait, it is loading, it seems.
Okay.
সাথী কাকিমা এত করে আসবে না? সঙ্গীতার সঙ্গে বলে সাথী কাকিমা বলে আসবে।
Can you close and open the tab again? This tab, this application tab, you have to close and open.
Oh, this one. Okay. Yeah. Shall I click now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
You
it is.
see,
Yeah.
you see. Now what it is saying? One action got fired. The action name is increment. Because of the increment, what happened with your state? Counter value was 1. It changed it to 2.
Two.
Try to increment again. One more action got fired. What is the action?
Increment.
Increment.
Two
It became 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Now
Shall I-
decrement. Yeah. What is the action that got fired?
Okay.
Yeah. You will get to know everything, right? What is happening. When you click on reset, reset action is being fired, right? So at least we will get to know what action got triggered because of this action. Before this action, what was the value? After this action, what is the current value? We will be able to easily find out. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Those who don't have this extension, please install it. Now, I'll show you the same extension, Redux DevTools for to-do application. In to-do application, what happens? Look at here. Let me open Redux. Let me reload my page. When I reload my page, it is saying that you can see it is saying that init. First time one action got fired, that action name is init. So when the page gets loaded, init action got fired. And because of init action, how the state looks like? State is one object. In state, what we have? We have to-do reducer, we have reducer 2, right? This is how to-do reducer looks like. Got it? This is tree view. This is chart view. Okay. This is chart view. State has to-do reducer 2. To-do reducer has this much data. Do you see? Then raw view, this is raw view. So this is your state object. Your state object looks like this. This is the raw view. This is chart view. This is tree view. Okay. Actions. It will show you all the actions. What action got triggered? What is the state? What is the diff? Diff means before action and after action. Hmm. Let me add one more action. Suppose I will type to do 3, add new to do. One action got fired. What is the action name?
তাহলে ওখানে পাবে না।
Add to do. Because of this add to do, what happened in to do reducer? How many objects are there? 3 objects are there.
Three.
Oh my God,
If you want to see the action information, it will tell you the action information. This is the action that got fired. Okay. This is the action object. This is state. This is the difference. What was the last value? What is the current value? It will show you the difference. The difference is ID 3 to do 3 completed false is green. Green means added. It had 2, added 1 more. Understand? Yeah. Okay. Now, if I click on toggle to do here, one more action will be fired. The action name is toggle to do. Because of this, what changes happened? If I click on diff, it is saying completed became true. From false, it changed to true. This is the current state information. This is the action. Okay. Now, if I click on delete to do for to do 2, one more action gets fired, delete to do. Okay. This delete to do, this is the action. This is the state. This is the state. This is the diff. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Is it? Yeah. So this is very useful. This is very useful. Without this app, debugging Redux application will be very difficult. And in real-time projects, we will not have the state object with 1 or 2 fields. State object will have a lot of data. Every data will have a lot of things again. So without this extension, debugging issues will be very difficult. Hope you got an idea, right? How to use this Redux dev tool.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next, I will debug and show you how this action, reducer, store, all these are interrelated. So I will debug and show you. I will go to my code. In this code, I will add debug point everywhere. First is store. After store, it will go to reducer. In reducer, I'll add a debug point. Then I'll go to actions. In actions, I'll add debug point. Then I'll go to, this is reducers, this is action. Then this view is better or this view is better? This is better. Yeah. So we will have another file. We will have another file. to do.js. In to do.js also we will add debug points. Then add to do. In add to do also we will add debug points. One is to do list. We will add debug point. Fine. Can you tell me when we reload the page, how the flow will go? First, which file will be called?
Action.
Okay. Why action?
No. Before action controller we are triggering, no?
Please understand, on page load, we are creating the store. We are creating the store. So before, when the page loads, we are creating the store. So when we are creating the store, here we are calling reducer in store.js. We are calling the reducer. So the reducer function gets called. Reducer function gets called with I don't want to see all these things. Oh. Okay. Reducer function gets called to do reducer with state as initial state and action. Action type is what? Init. Init means it is initial load. So if it is init, will it go to add to do? No. Will it go to delete to do? No. Will it go to toggle to do? No. Then what it will do? It will return the state as it is. So what it will return? One array with two objects. Once it returns the data, who is subscribing? Which component is subscribing this data?
To do.
List,
To-do list.
To-do list,
So
yeah.
it will go to to-do list. It will go to to-do list. Where it will go? Now store is created. Do you see? Store is created. Huh? Store is created. So when store is created, it will go to to-do list. It will go to to-do list. The subscriber, whoever is subscribing. So in to-do list, we are using use selector. Because of that, we got state object. In state object, how many reducers are there? In state object, how many reducers are there?
Two.
reducer.
We are interested with which reducer?
To-do
To-do's
reducer.
reducer. So from to-do's reducer, we get the data. We store it in a variable called my to-do's. Understood? Using that my to-do's, we are iterating and printing the data using UL and LI. So first flow is clear.
Yes, sir.
Next, when we type something here, to do 3. When I click on add new to do, we are in which component? This is which component?
Add to do.
This is add to do component. So when we click on this button, which function will be called? On click, add new to do will be called, right? When we click on this button, the control will go to line number 10. Then what are we doing? We are collecting the value from the input box. The value from the input box is to do 3. But action should be one object or action should be a string? Action should be one object or action should be one string?
Object.
Object. To get one object, we will call one action creator function, right? Either we can do it or we can call the function. Do we have any action creator function who will take a string and will return one object to me? We have, right? That is add to do function, right? Right. This add to do function is written in which file? Are you guys there in the call?
An action.
Okay. So when we call add to do, the control will go to action file, add to do function. The input is a string. What it will return?
Object of.
It will return one object. So this object will be given to add to do component again. So because of that action, in add to do, once we got the action object, we are dispatching, right?
Yes.
Whenever an action is dispatched, where it will go?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
can you once go to action.js, sir?
Yes.
Sir, here we are taking text and ID is incrementing 2, 3. Let's say user give, in case if user give 2 to 4, we will get 3, right? So
That
can
doesn't
we-
matter, right? That is just a index. So here you give 2 to 3 or 2 to 11. The ID will be 3 only.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. So after this, it will go to whom? To reducer, right? In reducer, what is the action object holding? Action object is holding ID 3, text to do 3. What is the type?
Add to do.
Type is add to do. It will go to first case, right? In first case, what it is doing? It is saying in the state, whatever it is there, don't touch everything that we have, plus add one extra object to that array. Add one extra object to that array. Got it?
Yes.
So it is adding one extra object to the list and will return. Whenever the reducer is updating the store, who will get notified? The subscriber. Who is the subscriber of the state?
To-do list.
To-do list. After this, again it will go to to-do list. Where it is going? To-do list. In to-do list, we got a new state. In new state, we have 3 objects. We are getting the data from to-do reducer, assigning it to my to-dos. Whenever my to-dos is changing, the ULLI will change again. Got it? Is it clear?
Yes.
Now toggle. When we click on toggle button for 2 to 3, which component has this button? To do component. To do component, right? So in to do component, when we click on this toggle button, it will go to a function called toggle my to do. This toggle my to do has only ID. But to dispatch the action, what we need? We need one object, right? To get that object, we are calling toggle to do action creator. It will go to action file. In action file, it has toggle to do function, which takes one ID and returns one object. That object again will be given back to do component. Action object we got. In action object, we have 2 information. What is the ID? What is the type? By using this object, we are dispatching the action. The action is being dispatched here. When the action is dispatched from to do component, where it will go?
Reducer.
It will go to reducer. So in reducer, it has the state information. In state, there are 3 to do. The third to do is completed false. But we have to write some logic here. And the action is toggle to do. It goes to toggle to do and it changes the completed value from true to false. It changes the value from true to false, false to true. Once the state is updated, where it will go? Where it will go?
You go to component.
Which component?
Or to the list.
It will go to to-do list because to-do list is subscribing the data, right? Whoever is using use selector on the state, that component will be called. Here we got a new state. From the new state, we got the new data. That new data we are printing again. Is it clear? Is it clear? The flow is clear or not?
Yes, the flow is clear, but it's still very complicated.
Yeah, it is because there are a lot of files involved.
Yeah, correct.
Because
At
of
a,
that only.
at the time of a loading, component loading, that time store.js will get executed, right?
Yes. You want me to create one more
Store.js
example?
also, if we, of the backend data, we can call the, no, it's not possible.
No, no. For backend, we have a different concept. Yeah. Is the flow clear?
Yes, sir. Flow is clear.
Actually, it looks difficult, but as we are doing it for the first time, maybe it is looking difficult. If we develop one or two applications, it will be easy to understand. Maybe you might be thinking, okay, for just a increment button, why are we creating all these files, all these folders?
Yes, sir. I have doubt as well, actually. Why we need to create all these files and folders?
We don't have to do, but all these files and folders you have to create only once. So when you have an enterprise application, in enterprise application, nobody will create a counter example, right? We will have actual data, we will have actual components. That time, this Redux will be useful. For increment example, nobody will create a Redux. We can have a state in our component, click the button, increment it. Decrement, click the decrement button, decrement it. We can do it. Just to make you understand with the smallest example, I'm using all these examples. And creating these files and folders, it is one-time job. If you do it once, daily you don't have to create action, reduce or store. Only you have to create components. That's all. Maybe it is a 90% chance that whenever you join a React project, action, reducer, store, all these things will be already there for you. You will have to only use them. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Sir, except these two, where we can use this concept means in real time. This is examples. In real time,
It's,
how it?
is it not real time? Is it?
Yeah, it's a real time, but in like applications like.
You want to maintain any data, you want to maintain any data, we can use Redux.
Okay, for example, we have a contact form. We need to submit all information in one format. That is, we can use Redux in the.
Where you will store. When user submits the form, where you will store the data.
I need to store in some backend admin panel.
You have to do that, right?
Yeah. That case, we can use Redux, no?
Every application will have Redux. There is no doubt at all.
Okay.
And one more thing, don't think Redux is database. When you refresh the page, the data is gone. Don't assume Redux is database. It will remember your data forever.
Yeah, it's exactly we are created in React, delete, view, edit.
Okay, maybe I'll show you one more example. This time I will show you products example. Try to understand. So we'll understand one products example. React shopping cart. Let's understand this. it has reducers and all.
বা লাগলে বুঝতেই পারবো না কোথায় লাগাতে হবে, মানে বুঝতে পারবো না কোথায় মোমো লাগালে ভালো হবে।
So you are explain different project type, but it's only concept of takes time to write the coding or what is the reason?
Uh-huh.
But you explain different project in different folder.
Huh.
Why we explain like that? It's takes time to write written code in same project or
See, you people will be confused, right?
yeah.
If we combine two things, you will be confused. That is why I have created small things.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. So in this project, look at this UI. Look at this UI and tell me which data is coming from state, what all actions, how many reducers we have.
এই প্রজেক্টটা
Looking at this page,
শপিং কার্ট, এগুলো তো করে নেই, ওর কাছেই আছে, ওগুলো বলতে পুশ করতে।
can you tell me? Looking at this page, what do you think? What data comes from state? How many actions? How many reducers we have?
Action 1 will be add, so and
That is increment.
And this
First
show
of-
details we are getting through state, right? This winter
So-
bond.
This product details we get it from state, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and this plus icon means add button is one action.
Add
of-
to cart. This is add to
Mhm.
cart. When we add to cart, this is one action, right? In
Yes.
my cart, I'm able to see one product here, right?
Yes.
Okay. So remove also is one action here.
Remove will be one action.
Check out.
Quantity,
Oh.
increase quantity is one action.
checkout can
Right.
be an action.
Decrease quantity is one action.
Mm.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
This decrease quantity is one action. Remove is one action. Add shipping fee is one action, right?
Mm.
Yes, yes.
Check out is one action.
Maybe checkout will not be one action, because when we click on checkout, we will not do anything with our products data, right?
Okay.
Maybe we will open a new page where we will ask user to enter the payment details, right?
Yes.
So checkout will not be one action. Action means that should go and update my data. If it is not updating my store data, that's not a Redux action, right?
Mm.
Yes, sir.
So when I click on this button, it takes me to cart. Is it one Redux action? No.
No.
It is just switching me from one page to another page, right?
Yes.
So every Redux action will call a reducer. That reducer will go and update the data, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
are you able to relate now in a shopping application, how data will be stored in state, how many actions will be there? At least if you are able to relate 50-60%, remaining we will understand once we open the code. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. You go to main page, you select one more item, add to cart. When we say add to cart, one action got fired. If I go to my cart, I see two items, right?
So once I add an action, and then in the my cart we are subscribing it from the store and getting the updated value of that.
Correct. So if we understand the flow now, see, this is again a different project, but it will not be very difficult for you to understand. I will.
These are there in the React library.
These are there in the GitHub.
Different link maybe, we don't know.
A different link I'll share in WhatsApp
Okay,
today.
okay.
Yeah. The link will be different. I'll share you. So first of all, we need a store. Do you see a store folder here?
No.
So
No.
in this project, maybe they have written store in one file. They didn't create a separate file. Why to write only 2 lines of code? We need a separate folder. They would have thought like that, right? Then
Store.js is not there.
store.js is not there, but store logic must be written somewhere, right?
Okay.
Now let's go to index.js. In index.js, we will get to know how are we creating store, how are we providing, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Go to index.js. What are they doing? They are only writing 1 line. They are not creating a separate file. Do you understand?
Oh, they are creating a store. They are not giving that extension logic here. Just create
Hmm.
store.
Hmm. So every project will not have a store folder and store.js file. Though most of the projects will have, if a project is not having, don't get confused. Go to index.js. In index.js, you will find provider. In provider, there will be a key, there will be a value. This value is coming from where? This value is coming from line number 10. So store file, there is no more store file extra. That logic is written in index.js. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
While creating the store, which reducer we are calling?
Cart reducer.
Cart reducer.
Cart reducer. So let's go to cart reducer.
Sir, in the provider, we only pass store.
We only provide store.
Any other things we don't pass. Provider is
Uh,
meant
uh,
for store only.
I need to check if we have any other props.
Like in other applications,
Provider
we pass
in
service also. That's why I was
React Redux. Provider will take only store and server state.
Yeah, server state is also something.
Yeah, there is something called server state.
Whatever is needed for the entire applications, we pass.
Yes.
We pass service also. Some service available for the entire project.
Mm, we can pass, I think. Yeah. So let's understand now. Now, index.js is creating store by using cart reducer. Go to cart reducer. In cart reducer, initial state. In initial state, we have items array. Added items is empty. Added items is nothing but cart items. Total amount is 0. In state, we have 3 keys now. What are the 3 keys? Items, added items, total cart value, total cart amount, right?
Yes.
So cart reducer is a function which takes initial state and action. Then the logic is there, like as usual. If action type is add to cart, do this logic, or else do this logic. If action type is remove item, do this logic. If action type is add quantity, do, do this logic. If action type is subtract quantity, do this logic. If action type is add shipping charge, in the total add 6 rupees extra. If action type is subtract shipping, do this, else return the original state. Do you understand? Hmm?
Yes, sir.
In this reducer, in this file, how many reducers are there? Only one. If we had multiple reducer, what method we would have used?
Combine reducer and keep it everything.
Combine reducers.
So there will be one reducer file only every time, or
No, there will be multiple reducers, and they will create a file. In most of the projects, there will be a file main reducers dot ts or
Over there, we will
js.
combine it. Over there,
In
we will
that,
combine.
we will write only one line combine reducer.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Every
and
other will be over there.
for every reducer, we will have a separate file so that it will be easy to understand. Cart reducer is a separate file. Employee reducer is a separate file. A student reducer is a separate file. And we will have one more file called root reducer. So this is our store. This is our reducer. Then action file. Action. Okay. So we have lot of actions. One is add to cart. Add to cart takes the ID. It returns one object. Remove item takes ID, returns object. Subtract quantity does that. Add quantity does that. So these are our action creators. These are what?
Action
Action.
Action creators.
Action creators. Then let's understand component. Store, reducer, action. Once done, we will understand the components now. Let's open app component. In app component, we have routes. One is one is home route, one is cart route. One is home route, one is cart route. So let's go to home component and cart component.
Sir, what is switch? Switch you added.
This is the old way of using route.
তো এটাই খাবো শুধু।
Okay, now he's using
এটাই
router.
খাবো শুধু।
We use routes.
Yeah, okay.
There are two components. One is home component. The other one is cart component.
হুম।
In home component, what are we doing? We should
বলো।
show all the items, right?
তো দিবি নাকি?
Mhm.
We should show all the items. So
তো যারা শিখেছি
Huh. And again, see, this is old way. This is class way. Class home extends component. In class components, we have to use connect method, export to default connect, and from connect we will get the data. Okay, so don't yeah. So but in functional component we don't have to do that, but you can see we got the data here. The data is called items. We got the data called items. Once we get the data items, using items, we are showing all the products here. We are showing all the products here. And there should be a plus icon or add icon. On click of plus, we are calling handle click. In handle click, we are calling this dot props dot add to cart. So add to cart is returning one action object. That action object we are dispatching. When we dispatch, this ID will be added to cart. Now we will go to cart component. In cart component, in cart component, we have actions again. We have actions again. Remove item, add quantity, subtract quantity. All these things we have. Getting something?
Yes, sir.
Can you do this functionality implemented starting from the scratch? Create a new project. Create a new project. Create a header component. add two routings. If you click on home will be loaded. When you click on my cart will be loaded. In home component, if you click on add to cart, that item should be added to state. From state, my cart is reading the data. Can you do that?
Yes, sir. We will try. Thank you.
And if you want the code for this, I'll share you. Shopping. React shopping cart. React Redux shopping cart. I'll share this with you.
And to do also, sir. To do.
To do also I'll share.
Yeah.
So can you push updated what is that file? Notes
Not-
files as well. Notes
Yeah.
file.
This is shopping cart. Then
So you share it in chat or WhatsApp?
in WhatsApp. This is to do. This is to do. I did share too. Did you get it in WhatsApp?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Shall we do that employee credit project also using this?
No, only one is enough.
Okay.
So if we do product, I think we can cover many use cases, many actions, right?
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Only one is enough. Okay. Now,
ভালো লাগছে, আমি কথাই বলতে পারছি না। আমি কি বলবো তোদের, এক একটা দানা আমার মুখের মধ্যে সুন্দর লাগছে। সব শেষ নাকি? হুম? আচ্ছা।
fine. I think we should stop here, right? Let's practice this much. If we
Sir,
discuss everything,
Sir, how to post a API on server, sir?
how to host API in server side means
Post, sir.
how to post API in server side.
Yes, sir.
So you have any API code?
No, sir.
What is the requirement? If you can explain me the requirement, then
Recording stopped.
I'll be able to help you. What you want? You